right, guys, mix it up one more time. Good luck.
PFOA is an OSAA-sanctioned association of football officials who service schools in the Portland metropolitan area and beyond. We are primarily mission to service the OSAA schools and follow National Federation of High School rules with those high schools.
52 holding.
Easy up, fellas, easy up now. Nice play.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, half the distance to the goal, results in a first down.
In Oregon, we use five-man crews on the varsity games. And the five-man crews start with the crew chief or the guy in the middle behind the offense. He's the referee. He ends up having a white hat in high school. He's in charge of signaling the infractions called by the other officials on the field. He's in charge of making sure the game is run properly and that the other officials are doing their jobs. And he is also in charge of when the plays start and when they restart after interruptions.
We had an incomplete pass. Pass interference here is declined. Fourth down.
The guy across from him in the middle of the field on the defensive side of the ball is the umpire. The umpire is responsible for most of the line play and the snapping of the ball and the holding that takes place by the tackles and guards around the ball and many other duties as well, but those are his main focus. On either side of the line of scrimmage are what we call the wings, or a line judge and a head linesman. The head linesman has the chains on his side of the field. He's in charge of that chain crew who is part of the officiating crew, and he makes them set up properly and determine the line to gain for the first down markers. He calls the line of scrimmage plays, offsides, and false starts. And his counterpart on the other side of the field is called the line judge, and he does the same thing. In the back of the defense, the guy that never supposed to get beat to the goal line is the back judge. And the back judge primarily has responsibility for deep pass plays, and he will also be observing certain things that are coming off the line of scrimmage. He will throw flags from long distance often because he'll have responsibility from sideline to sideline and all the way to the goal line from the line of scrimmage. He has a lot of ground to cover. So those are the 5 positions that you'll see in a high school game. There are certain responsibilities by certain officials, and each one has a name, and each one owns that position and is proud of it.
Rams-Titans Super Bowl, way back when, the one where the guy was stretching the ball over, trying to score on the last play and didn't quite make it. It was such a great game, and I'm a big football fan. I don't know what happened, but I just all of a sudden was thinking, I wonder what it takes to be a football official. Way back when, the internet wasn't all that complicated, but I got on there and found contact for Portland Football Officials Association, called up, within 5 minutes, the commissioner convinced me to give it a try. He insisted that I didn't have to have played football ahead of time, and that was it.
Started way back when. I own a women's professional football team, and one of the other players on the team actually had a guy coming to her work that was an official and was recruiting her for a while, and she finally said, "I'm only going to do it if you do it." So I said, sure, why not? So we came out to that first classroom, and it's been 15 years later, and I still love it.
I watched a lot of football. I love football. I was a football fan, and one of the things I did at my school was I volunteered to work the chains at the football game because I like to have a good view of the game and I like to watch it without a bunch of people walking in front of me. So I did that for several years, and I used to meet and talk to some of the officials, got to know a few of them. But one of those officials that I knew well was a principal in our school district, and I used to ask him questions. And he says, "You ask really good questions. You should consider being an official." Well, it took him about 2 or 3 years of pressing me, and I finally said, okay, I'll give it a try. And he recruited me, and I've loved it ever since.
It's important to kind of understand the game. You don't have to be, a doctor of the game or anything, but understanding the basic football kind of rules and knowledge about that definitely helps to then learn the behind the scenes. And when you're watching a game, everybody wants to watch the ball, and there's one person in a 5-man crew that actually has to watch the ball for a second, so we're watching everything else. And I think that that was one of the things going from being a fan to being an official is to not watch the ball. It has everything to do with the progress of obviously the spot and everything, but there's a lot of times I'm not paying attention to the ball. It's to the players around it, in front of it, behind it, etc. The ball it needs to cross the plane, it needs to be in someone's possession, it needs to do different things, but whatever it does, it's attached to something else that I need to be worried about.
There's a lot of different kinds of plays in a football game. They're not all runs up the middle. Maybe they were at one time, but now they certainly are not. There's a lot to it, which is why our mechanics book is rather thick and a difficult study when you're first starting out. You have to have that situational awareness at all times. We are officiating the game. We're not just black and white applying rules. We're making sure it's fair for everybody, and that's why we're there.
We're aware of situations, we're aware of the implications of certain teams winning or not, or whatever it is, but it has nothing to do with how we call the game. It can't have anything to do with how we call the game. So we definitely, we try to call it as fair as possible and right down the middle.
5-yard penalty if Beth will move the ball back to midfield.
Some of the things I love just about being an official and then being part of the PFOA is just, first and foremost, it's football. That just being able to be a part of the game, I absolutely love it.
I don't know, call it a rush, I don't know. I absolutely love it, and I couldn't imagine life without it.
Friday night under the lights is so much fun. There's nothing like that. Just, you can smell it in the air. It's just football in the fall, nothing like it.